We are here at International Chamber of Media and Entertainment Industry, and we have with us Abdul Diwale Mohammed from London, UK, who's been a founder and executive president of a very well-known organization called AASGON. We've been working together on education for the whole world as such, because we believe that if there is anything which is very important today, it's the education. And you know it that we've been in education for almost 31 years. We have 17 different colleges and a university called AAFT University. We've been very serious in building up the career and the character of the students who are associated with AAFT. AAFT has proved all over the world its caliber, its status, and we have been rated as one of the best institutions in the world. I'm very happy when I met Abdul Diwale in London. We could gel very well in a less than a minute, because what I was thinking sitting back at India, he was thinking same thing sitting back in London, UK. We have joined hands together to work together on education. I've always believed that the times have changed, and the pattern and the design methods and strategies in education must be changed. They must be little liberal, little modern, little technical. Then only probably we'll be able to deliver the best to the students of this world. I'm happy to say that AFT has been a case study in 27 countries of the world. We've been a case study in UCLA. We've been a case study even in a new education policy 2020 in India. I have always believed that if there is anything which need to be uplifted, is the education. I have given a new education, a new definition to education, because when I say E stands for entertainment, E stands for energy, E stands for excitement. And that's what the whole education should be all about. When I say D stands for discipline, dedication, and determination. When I say U stands for working under controlled condition, working with United Nations, and especially all the 17 SDG points, Sustainable Development Goals. When I say C stands for communication and commitment. The next A stands for attitude. The next T stands for techno-savvy, I stands for information, O stands for the overall development of the child, and N stands for being nationalist. And this is what I'm trying to teach, being a mentor and a former president of CEGR, Center for Education Growth and Research, which is the biggest body in higher education. I have been propagating the new definition of education all over India and abroad. Well, I'm also very keen in listening to my dear friend Muhammad Abdul Diwale, who's a very responsible officer and someone who has brought already a big change in education, and he's putting his best to bring best into education. May I request Muhammad Abdul Diwale to please speak few words.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sandeep Marwah, and thank you all, and also those who are listening to this wonderful day, I will call it. This is today is the 28th, am I right? Yeah, 28th of December. It's close to the end of the year. Those who've served the Christmas, now we're all waiting for New Year, and I believe that we look for greater things next year, 2025. 2025 will be a wonderful year because a lot of people, organizations, institutions like that of Dr. Sandeep have been doing great things over the years, like we had over the last 30 years. They've been trying to see how best we can deal with education across particularly developing countries. Now, the AASGON is called the Africa Asia Scholars Global Network. Why do we set it up? It was in 2010 when we referred back to 1955, which was when they had the Asia Africa Conference in Indonesia. That was in Bandung. We realize there's been a problem, the fact that most of the governments, in fact, even Indonesian government, are already planning for next year, which is 78th anniversary of the Asia Africa Conference. But unfortunately, most of our universities are not aware about the efforts of our leaders, like Jawaharlal Nehru, who was then president of India, or prime minister of India, and then we had Nasser from Egypt, we had also Nkrumah from Ghana, we had the one from China, we are from Sri Lanka, and they came together in Bandung not only for political independence, then they wanted economic, social independence. But unfortunately, we know that we are 80% of the population of the world, and yet we're still far behind. That's what we call the North-South divide. You realize that when COVID came, it became much wider, and now with artificial intelligence, it's a great concern, and that's why I always take note of what Ajay Banga, the president of the World Bank, said recently, that he find it probably hard to sleep when he starts to see the mistrust in trying to unite the North and the South, which is the West and the developing countries. And I think that's a great concern coming from the president of the World Bank. Not only that, we had the Secretary General of United Nations about a few weeks ago saying that the financial architecture the world deals with is unfair to developing countries. That's also a great concern. We as an organization were signatory to the United Nations Global Compact. We're also a member of the UK Stakeholders for Sustainable Development. And it was of great concern when in 2018, the World Economic Forum, even though I'm proud that they were bold enough to tell the world that the world is fractured, and that is about 2018. So we ask ourselves, knowing that our world is fractured, what do we do about it? So our organization, which Dr. Marwah has been very supportive with, they decided that we need to find a solution. So we got a 3-point solution to rebuild the bricks of our fractured world. And then also that conference was the 46th or 48th conference of the World Economic Forum in Switzerland. And there, for the first time in history, they had women to co-chair the summit in Switzerland. We're very proud that the World Economic Forum can think and know the potentials of women. But unfortunately, women were only used as numbers. But I have a signatory to the UN Global Compact. What we did was to call for a meeting in New York with the UN women. And we sat with the UN women. One of the greatest misdeeds of most of us is that when we parley with United Nations, we seem to feel we're in a comfort zone. We fear to tell the truth, to be honest with ourselves. But I'm here to say that on the 19th of July 2018, right there at headquarters of UN Women, I told the Under-Secretary General that they do not even know the value of women, and I still maintain it. Because women are great potentials. Women, no man here even can say he was born of a woman. And so, because women are divided, and until women themselves can unite, because if you look at the animal kingdom, how much they care about children around them, but what do we do with our own children? Everybody is selfish. My child, but you forget that your child will live in the street with other children that you abandon. So what is the rationale for you to say you love your child? So we realized in 2010, because I had an orphanage in Africa, and I set up the first African children organization in the UK in Westminster. And when I realized that we don't care about children all over the world, I then felt that if we have good policies that are diverse, we can actually change the course of history. So then what did we do? We knew it was going to be a hard thing. I've raised over almost £50 million supporting children in my life. But when 2010, I realized that if you see 1,000 children who were suffering, and you take 200 out of it, you believe there will be 800 left. And you assume that some people will have taken another maybe 100 or 200, believing you have maybe about 400 left. Go down there, you see 4,000. So you ask yourself, what have I achieved? These are the things we looked at and we said, look, we need to revert back to what, like Dr. Marwah said. Among the things we said about education, attitude, character is missing in today's world. And without that, they say, what is the point of having gained the whole world and lose your own soul? So, but the point there is that history is coming to be made next year. Because for 14 good years since 2010, we've done practical research. We are also happy that the first thing we did was to try and what even United Nations lack. Because every time a president of UN General Assembly comes up, because they only have one time to serve, I can tell you, go check the history. They always say, I am going to build trust. Trust is missing in our world. 1945, the United Nations was established. It's going to be 80 years next year. But we're lucky that there was a great guy who wrote a satire, which is the Animal Farm. This was also written in 1945, the same year of United Nations. And yet, we still live in that same, or what I call it, the satire that was read, that was Animal Farm. It said, do what I say, don't do what I do. And that's what it's for the past 80 years. That's a life we've been living to today. But most of us, a lot of people are great. They're very humane, even more than us. But they've been frustrated out of the system. And we are calling them to join hands with us, so that we can start to rebuild the bricks of our fractured world. The point is, all we need to do, which I mentioned, a 3-point solution. One, we have to review international rule of law. Because the law is gone completely. And I give you quickly, when Israel was asked to stop the war, Israel said everybody go to hell. And what has happened? Nothing. So where's the law? And there are many other things that negate even the future of our children. Because we disempower more children than empowering them in the society we are today. So then the second one is to boost the morale, the value of parenting and teaching. When parenting has gone down, teaching has gone down, what kind of future are we building? Let's ask ourselves. And then you look at the third one, which we said is to try and bring in the adage which says it takes a village to raise a child, not a family. Because every child born is a child of everybody in the community. But rather, we have failed our generation. But we said, like us will not try to fail our generations. We have to do something. That's why we take the effort. That's why Dr. Marwah takes this effort also to make sure that we can tell the world exactly what we're trying to do. We can do alone. We want everybody. But however, like I said, history will be made next year. We've been on it. We worked on it. We've done a lot of research on it. And we have 100% that even the West will come to learn from the global South. What are we doing? Now, we have all the association universities across Africa, Arab, Asia. We have the Association of Arab Universities. We have the Association of Asia Pacific, which I'm on their board, even though I'm not an Asian. We've been together for almost 12 years. We have the Association of African Universities. We have the Association of Indian Principals. We have the Indian Society for Technical Education. And we're working on the ones on Chinese, and we're looking at Latin America, the Caribbean, as well as South America, so that we have that unity. And this is going to be called the Global South Universities Association. And this will be launched at the House of Lords on the 18th of July, 2025. Not only that, what we've done is that we find that there's a problem of a lot of our universities in the world, not only Africa, Asia, but even America. Even the World Economic Forum, which is the most that we divide the size our policy in the world. What did we do about that? What are we doing about that? Is that we did the research and we realized that the problem we have is that most of our universities, they have a trail where every year there's always an international conference. I bet you, every year they do the conference, they come with different theme. But you ask a question. Last conference you had, you brought experts to come and deliver papers. So what happened next year? You come with a different totally. How have you addressed those expert papers that were brought to you? But because all of them lack, they have the structure to process those expert papers, which then invariably they will use to support the government to bring out large policies. You see, we do not lack answers. United Nations has made, we said it because if you go to the portal of United Nations, you see our report there. But it seems like they don't read. And I'm being honest with ourselves because and I'm very proud of the UN Secretary General. He's a very honest man because he tells like it is. It's like he does not see what powers he has to do. And that's why even when Kofi Annan was there as the Secretary General, there were a lot of reforms. The reforms have been carried out now. But the point is, The United Nations, created a high-level panel in 2013. And that high-level panel was led by my Prime Minister then, David Cameron, along with the Indonesian president and Liberian president. And they were very honest. They said two things: renewed global partnership, people-centered policies. When you say partnership, it means there's nothing we can achieve in this world without partnership. And there's nothing we can achieve in the world if we don't let our policy affect and reach out to larger number of people. Because what we do is look after a few people and then we neglect large people. That's why our policy is in building cities. When we talk about smart city, and you ask the question, what has happened to rural areas? You're talking about smart city. So everybody rush to come and work in the city, create pollution in the city. In the morning, in the night, you see how they sweat back to you because they can't live in a city. Whereas you forget the rural areas. I have traveled 19 hours by train in India from Bhopal to 2017, from Bhopal to Hyderabad to Ramoji Film City there, and coming back from there again here. So I've seen the level of poverty, not only here, in many places we have seen. All we are saying is that we have answers to this. So what we're doing, because most of our curriculum in this global south is meant to develop the West. And I want to say here to congratulate Prime Minister Modi and all those interested in education for the new policy of India. And I hope that other African countries, Asian countries, Arab countries will also look at those policies and see how we can and also improve on that policy of Prime Minister Modi. So I commend Prime Minister Modi for that, and also for working to lead the global south. Because India was the first country to raise a fund to support the global south. And secondly, last year, I think G20, it made effort to ensure that Africa was being included in the G20. And also, they also have the voice of what they call the voice of the global south, which is also here held here in Delhi. So that is a great effort from Prime Minister Modi. But we did something before the election, and now that even is back, and also the same external affairs minister is back, we have sent a proposal to them. We have said, with all the efforts you're doing, you need also in diaspora. That's what you call multicultural society. Go to Canada, go to America, go to Australia, go to Europe. We call ourselves multicultural, but we don't connect with each other. And the mistake our leaders are making in the global south is the fact they fail to include us, diaspora. We are the waste, what they call it, the brain drain, that has been taken away from India, from Africa, from Egypt, from Arab countries, and we die there in the West. Why can't you include us, involve us in some? We have the funds, and then we also have the think tank. We have the ideas. So if they involve us, and then we can try to security structure. All we want is, we have proposed, let India host it, let them have either vegan, Bhavan, or whichever they want. We professionals in America, in Australia, in Europe will come, and then we can create a structure. And that structure, we can create what we call the Diaspora Investment Fund. We can likewise create what we call the Diaspora Think Tank, so that we can use this to ensure that at least we can be able to make necessary change in our society. So these are what we put forward. So what we do is that when we talk about curriculum, which is very important, which is to drive the way we do about development, education, and whatever. So what we've done is to ensure that because the global south is large, we're 80%, like I said, and the most disadvantaged. So what in case we're now doing is that we are now going to create a Global South Chamber of Commerce and Industry. We are creating the Global South Mining Association. We're creating the Global South Farmers Association, because remember, just the war between Russia and Ukraine, what happens? Famine, even wheat became a problem even in India. We have seen the arable land we have. And yet just one simple war between Ukraine, and that happened. So we're going to create the Global South Farmers Association. The same thing, we're going to have the Global South Science and Technology Development. The current chairman of the UNCTAD, which is United Nations on Science and Technology, apparently is one of us, and is the ambassador for Gambia right there in Switzerland. So we have the people who are working with us, who are in government and also outside government, that are working with us. So we also realize that we're going to have the Global Science and Technology Development. We have the Global South Energy. We have the engineers. We have the, solar energy. So we are creating these bodies so that they can work with universities to develop the right curriculum that can work with the people.
Wonderful.
So this is the network we're trying to do. So next year, 18 to 20, in House of Lords, and also at the Queen Elizabeth Center, which is just a few meters away from the Parliament. We will be able to host this, and we are going to launch this, and then we can start to make sure that the global south will start looking after itself. So a lot of things is being worked on, and we can assure we will continue to brief the media, the people, and like we said, our secretariat is right there, the Meridian Hotel, which is here in Delhi, and the headquarters is right in Kent, in UK, and we're very accessible for anyone who wants to know what we're doing, who wants to join. Is the Africa Asia Scholars Global Network, which is AASGON.com, which is www.asgon.com, and then we also have the Global South Economic Forum. We created the Global South Economic Forum in 2018 when we saw that we cannot see the impact of the World Economic Forum in the Global South. So that was also established. So I want to thank my good friend, Dr. Sandeep Marwah. He's a great man. I told him he's a wonderful man, And all I can always say is to pray for you,
Thank you.
and hope that everything you lay your hand will turn into gold. It's already gold, I tell you.
Wonderful. I think
so thank you very much. Thank you.
Great listening to you, and what a wonderful idea. And I think not only me, but our whole group is with you on this beautiful subject.
Thank you.
And on this mission, I must say that. So if you're in education, and if you are in education industry, then make it a point to be with us on 18th July in House of Lords in London, in United Kingdom. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.